Just as a disclaimer, we want you to know that some of the movies that we will be reviewing were shot in a different time and era where people of race and sex were not treated equally. We understand this and hope you do too. The movies or anything that happened on the sets are not the views of this podcast or what this show is intended to be all about.
Exactly. And we want to give due diligence in presenting the movie and not the views of the cast or directors or anyone involved. But we also feel it's necessary to let the audience know some of the background information to get a feel for what was happening at the time of shooting the film. Again, we hope you understand that we do not agree with everything that went on, and we just want to give out the information. And with that being said, hope you enjoy the show.
Casablanca, city of hope and despair, located in French Morocco in North Africa. The meeting place of adventurers, fugitives, criminals, refugees lured into this danger-swept oasis by the hope of escape to the Americas. But they're all trapped, for there is no escape. Against this fascinating background is woven the story of an imperishable love and the enthralling saga of 6 desperate people, each in Casablanca to keep an appointment with destiny.
I was willing to shoot Captain Reno, and I'm willing to shoot you.
All right, Major, you asked for it.
You knew how much I loved you. How much I still love you.
I know a good deal more about you than you suspect. I know, for instance, that you're in love with a woman. It's perhaps a strange circumstance that we both should love the same woman.
What do you want for Sam?
Don't buy and sell human beings.
That's too bad. That's Casablanca's leading commodity.
You can ask any price you want, but you must give me those letters.
That's all right.
I tried to reason with you. I tried it. Now I want those letters.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema, where we're here for episode number 38.
We're back.
Yeah, it's been a rough days for me, so a couple days. We will be talking about one of the greatest movies of all time, usually anywhere between 3 and 5, number 3 and number 5 on most lists.
Yeah.
The movie Casablanca. And Terrence, do you know what Casablanca means in Spanish?
I don't, actually.
White House.
Oh.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
I guess I should guess that.
Right. So anything else been going on? You seen any good movies lately? Anything before we get going?
No, I haven't really seen anything. It's just been
I'm
busy
telling you,
with
I
work.
watched that Jojo Rabbit. I didn't know how I would like it, but man,
I heard it was
it ended up being a really good movie. So
I've heard a lot of things about a lot of the movies.
if you
Like, I
haven't
heard
seen it,
Jojo Rabbit was good.
it's really really interesting movie, good movie.
I heard, what was the war movie? Which
In
one was that called?
1917, 1940, something like
Yeah,
that.
so whatever.
I just watched it. I, can't think
I
of
heard that was
1917,
really
I
good.
think.
Even though I've heard sort of back and forth on like it's good, oh it's not so good. I've heard still more positive than negative about Birds of Prey, which also came out.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
I heard it was pretty good.
And then I'm going to throw out here the Peanut Butter Falcon. If you haven't seen it,
Heard
make
that
sure
was
you watch.
amazing.
I watched that a long time ago, and I think it's still one of the best movies of last year that I've seen. So, But enough of boring people to tears. Let's go ahead and jump right into it because this has won a lot of awards. There's a lot of information, and we're about to see why. So, Terrence, let's take it away to Casablanca.
Casablanca, release date January 23rd, 1943. So when we're looking at the box office, we're looking at a budget of $950,000. So I think this is on the lower scale budget compared to some of the movies we've seen in the similar time frame. For opening weekend, that's couldn't get. So gross USA, 4.1 million was made. No, wait. I edited that number. I'm having the toughest start right now. Okay. I just my notes are so discombobulated. I can't read my own writing sometimes. So gross USA they actually made 10.4 million. Then we're looking at a cumulative worldwide gross of 35.8 thousand. That's minus, what they made in the US. So it did pretty well in the U.S., not so much overseas. But overall, it made its money back, and it was a success. Not as a big a success as they wanted, but a success nonetheless. This was directed by Michael Curtiz, who also directed the 1938 Adventures of Robin Hood, 1942 Yankee Doodle Dandy, and 1954 White Christmas.
Well, there you go.
Writing credits. We're looking at Julius J. Epson, Philip G. Epson, who are screenplay brothers, it seems. Or
twins. They are twin brothers.
Oh, they're twins.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Okay. Howard Koch, who all wrote the screenplay. Then we have, I suppose this was a stage play also.
Yeah, Everybody Comes to Rick's or something.
Yeah,
is that the name of it?
Yeah. Howard Koch and Murray Burnett were the writers of... Murray Burnett and Joan Allison were the writers of the stage play. And then we have... oh, man. I'm just all kinds
Please silence all cell phones during this serious production.
What's funny is I'm usually the one that's like, hey, let's make sure our cell phones are on silent. And today I'm just dropping the ball on everything.
That sounded like one of those cartoons, where they get up to start running real fast.
All right, there we go. Now that's on mute. That won't happen again. So we have an uncredited writer for Casey Robinson. The technical specs of this movie are a runtime of 1 hour and 42 minutes. So it's if you're watching the West Germany cut, then it's 1 hour and 22 minutes. So they cut some stuff out. Nice, average movie length, something to squeeze in if you have some time, which is definitely worth it. Sound mix, we're looking at mono RCA sound system. This is a black and white movie. It's been a while since we've done a black and white movie, and now we're back on it.
Yeah.
Aspect ratio 1.37 by 1. They used a Cameron Mitchell BNC for this filming. The film length is 2,811 meters. That's 2,815 meters Sweden. Negative format of 35 millimeters. We're looking at Eastman Plus X 1231 if you are interested. Cinematographic process is spherical printed film format. D-Cinema for the 2012 2K digital re-release. So as you can imagine, this thing's been released multiple times. And then originally it was 35 millimeter. Now off to the awards. Still doesn't have the same pizzazz as the other table. All right.
We might have to pull that other table out just so you get your sound
so
effects
I can
back.
drum on it, right? So we're looking at the Academy Awards, USA 1944. They won an Oscar for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Writing Screenplay, and then they were nominated for Best Actor in Leading Role, Humphrey Bogart, Best Actor in Supporting Role, Claude Rains, and Best Cinematography, Black and White, Arthur Edison, and Best Film Editing, Owen Marks, and finally Best Music Scoring for a Dramatic or Comedy Picture, Max Steiner. Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films USA, 2009. They were nominated for a Saturn Award for Best DVD Classic Film Release from the Ultimate Collector's Edition. I wonder what else is included in the quote-unquote Ultimate Collector's Edition.
Don't know.
And I like is considered is that like top tippy top movies?
But is there like an ultimate special edition? You know what I mean?
Right? Or is this like ultimate collector's edition of just this movie?
But see, I wonder if the reason they come back and release it so many times is because maybe they find a vault that has some old film in it, or some scripts, or something. Maybe you know what I mean? That's long forgotten. Somebody died, and they were like a backdrop in there, and they found something special. Just a cameo, and they found some special stuff, or a diary, or a journal, or something.
I do know every now and then we'll see some movies, and as I'm going through the technical specifications, we'll see a re-release with almost a director's cut, because it'll be longer, which kind of pulls that same question. Oh, did they find like lost footage that they decided to add into the film, or was the director still around to be like, that should have been in the movie? Well,
it's like the most famous of all is the Richard Donner Superman 2 cut.
Yep.
Completely different movie when you throw his stuff in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Where was I? Yes, DVD Exclusive Awards 2003. They were nominated for DVDX Award, Best DVD Overall DVD, Classic Movie, including all extra features. And this was the 60th Anniversary Special Edition that was nominated. Then we have the Las Vegas Film Critics Society Awards 2008. It won the Sierra Award for Best DVD Packaging, Design, and Content for the 85th Anniversary Edition, the Warner Home Entertainment.
85th edition. Anniversary. Right? Man.
Shows how long this movie has just stood the test of time. Next we have the National Board Review, USA 1943. And before I got into the awards, I actually wanted to talk about this particular award set for this episode. So we have the National Board of Review. We've only seen it a handful of times, but I thought the background was interesting about this award set, so I thought I'd throw it into this particular episode. So this came out in 1909, this particular set of reviews, and this is where filmmakers, film enthusiasts, actors, professionals, they basically watch a bunch of movies and then discuss them with the actors, the directors, the producers. So this is typically done in New York, and what they'll do is they'll sit around and they'll talk about the movies after they watch them, and they'll watch up to 250 films. This is just a whole event.
It's right up our alley.
I know, right? Exactly. And so what they'll do is, after watching them, they'll talk about it with the creators and stuff, and then they move on to the awards, which usually, if you see a movie on the National Board of Review, they'll also be considered for bigger awards like the Oscars, Academy Awards, stuff like that. And so that's also really interesting. And to qualify to get an MBR award is pretty simple. It just has to have a theatrical release in the United States, because it does include foreign films, but it had to have been released theatrically. And they have to be able to screen it while they're doing the award ceremony, basically, or the whole event,
review.
The review. Because obviously you can't review it if you can't watch it. So that's pretty much it. So that's a little highlight on the National Board of Review. So now we're looking forward in time from when this was created, back to 1943, when Casablanca won the award for the MBR Award, Top 10 Films, and they also won Best Director. Michael Kruitz for this.
Did you say the NBR?
Yeah, that's the abbreviated
for what?
For National Board of Review.
Okay.
NBR. So this is interesting. So it won Top 10 Films, but he also won Best Director, but for a different movie.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah. I was like, wow.
Then we are off to the National Film Preservation Board, USA 1989. Obviously, this film is eligible for it. And it won to be in the National Film Registry. What's that?
Isn't that BT? Before Terrence? 1989, right? BT before Terrence.
BT. Then we have the New
you
York.
should see your face. Like, what is this guy? What is BT stand for?
Now we have the New York Film Critics Circle Award, 1942. They were nominated for the NYFCC Award for Best Actor, Humphrey Bogart, and Best Director, which is interesting because once again they were nominated for definitely the participants in this movie, but they were nominated for different roles. So interesting that this is on the list. I did not read that ahead of time. Because Humphrey Bogart got it for Across the Pacific, and Michael Cruitz got it for directing Yankee Doodle Dandy. The Online Film Television Association, 1997, AT. Winner of the OFTA Film Hall of Fame. They won for Best Motion Picture. And now for the synopsis of Casablanca. An American man must decide if he wants to help his former lover and her husband escape from French Morocco.
A very interesting plot of this movie. Like I said, I don't know if I've ever watched this movie all the way through. I think this might be my first time watching it totally through.
Nice.
I've tried to start it. Like that first few minutes is rough. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? Where everybody's landing and
they're doing all the explanation.
And I was like, man, what is going on? I was like, man, I really don't care at this point. Just get to something. Anything. So I really didn't have any thoughts going into it. All I know is it was on the greatest movies list, and I know I hadn't seen it, and I know I want to watch it, and I know I want to do this podcast review on it. So that's where we're at. So let's go ahead and talk about the cast. Very diversified cast.
Absolutely, yeah.
Obviously, your main stars are Humphrey Bogart, who played Rick Blaine.
Yep.
Ingrid Bergman as Elise Lund. She calls it her most famous and enduring role.
Very nice.
I thought that was pretty good because she's had a lot of movies. Paul Henreid as Victor Lazio. He was obviously her husband.
Yeah.
Which we'll go ahead and say this now. She thought he was dead.
Yeah.
Back when she meets Humphrey Bogart in Paris, in Paris, and they have a little romantic fling. And then throughout the movie, you find out Bogart's really mad at her, and you don't understand why.
Very mad.
We'll get there. I don't want to discuss that right now. And here we go. The second build actors, which I just told Terrence this, and he didn't believe me, but this all ties together. Claude Rains, better known for as the Invisible Man role that he did, plays Captain Louis Renault, which he was very good in this movie too.
What was funny is when he told me that, I was like, "Oh, I didn't recognize him." But that's because I didn't see him in the first place.
Right, he did play in that Michael Curtiz's The Adventures of Robin Hood. He was in that, and he was also in the villain in Alfred Hitchcock's Notorious, along with Ingrid Bergman. So he had played with her again.
Nice.
Conrad Veidt as Major Henrik Strasser. He was actually a refugee German actor who had appeared in The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. He fled the Nazis, but was frequently cast as a Nazi in American films. I was like, how do you... I mean, wow. That would just be a slap in the face, I think. Sidney Greenstreet as Signor Ferrari, who was another Englishman. He had previously starred with Laura and Bogart in his film debut in The Maltese Falcon.
Oh, wow.
And next, Peter Lorre as Signor Ugarte. If you don't know this guy has been in a ton of movies. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, The Maltese Falcon, The Man Who Knew Too Much, just a bunch. Our Stinking Old Lace, which we will be doing sometime. Great movie. So it says Greenstreet and Lorre appeared in several films together over the next few years, although they did not share a scene in Casablanca. So there you go. They had those guys. There's also a bunch of credits. The thing about most of these actors or extras, they were actually people that were running away from wartime crimes or what do you want to call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Like the regime. They're running from the regime. A hiding place. From, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm blanking.
But we had Kurt Boyce as the pickpocket, Leonard Kinski as Sasha, the Russian bartender, Madeline LeBeau as Yvonne, Joy Page as Anania Brandel, who was a Bulgarian refugee.
Yep.
Joy Page. Oh, that's the one I just said. Sorry. John Quaylen, S.C. Sokol, Dooley Wilson as Sam. Very underrated performance.
Absolutely.
And we're going to talk about something a little bit later that makes me mad with him. So hang on. It's one of those injustices, if you will.
Yeah.
But he was one of the few American born members of the cast. He was actually a drummer, and he had to fake playing the piano. They actually had somebody else playing the piano, like behind a curtain close to him.
Okay.
And but they had him in sight where he could see the hand movements. You know what I mean? So he faked it very well. It says, even after shooting had been completed, producer Wallace considered dubbing over Wilson's voice for the songs. He had originally considered changing the character to a woman and casting singers Hazel Scott, Lena Holm, or Ella Fitzgerald.
Wow.
I mean,
I'm glad they didn't.
No, I'm very glad. And here's some uncredited ones. Marco Dallio, Helmut Dantine, Gregory Gay as the German banker, Torben Meyer as the Dutch baker, Corinza Musa as the guitar player who sings Tango della Rosa, Frank Puglia, Richard Ryan, Dan Seymour, Gerald Oliver Smith, Norma Vaden. So much of the emotional impact of this film for the audience in 1940 was attributed to the large proportion of the European exiles and the refugees who were extras or played minor roles in addition to the leading actors. So I thought that there's also a rumor, if you will, that Jack Benny had a unbilled cameo in this movie.
Really?
Right. Roger Ebert once said, somebody wrote into his movie thing one time and said, hey, I think Jack Benny's in here. And he's like, I don't know. And he went back and he said, well, I think you may be right. So
what I think is really interesting about this movie is I knew I watched it, I knew I liked it, but I didn't remember the movie. And last time I saw it was on the list of like top 10 romance movies. Like it's always on the top 10 romance movies. So I'm thinking like, okay, well it's a romance. And then I watch it and I'm like, it has romance in it, but doesn't even really have romance in it. Exactly. So it's interesting. Movie was definitely different than I remember it in a good way, in an absolutely good way. But I think to label it a romance is almost kind of discrediting it a bit for how. I mean,
what would you label it if not a romance?
The drama at best.
Yeah,
drama was where I'd put it.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like in its own.
It is.
It's like a wartime.
Yeah.
War drama romance, I guess, more or less, if you will.
Yeah.
And the famous scene where the Marseilles, whatever, I'm going to slaughter a lot of these words because a lot of them are foreign, so I'm going to be Terrencing a lot of these. Sung over the German song Watch on the Rhine, many of the extras has real tears in their eyes. That's because a large number of them were actually refugees from Nazi persecution in Germany and elsewhere in Europe and were overcome by the emotions the scene brought on.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, how fortunate... You know, you're running away from your country, and then you get, hey, you want to be an extra in this cast, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then it's just right place, right time, you know what I mean? Many of the actors who played the Nazis were in fact German Jews who had escaped from Nazi Germany.
That's crazy.
That's sad, man.
Yeah.
Humphrey Bogart was a small man, you know what I mean? He wasn't very tall at all, so he had to wear platforms in his shoes because Ingrid Bergman was way, way taller than him.
Really?
Even when he's like sitting in chairs and stuff, that's why you never see him like from the waist down, you know what I mean?
That makes sense, yeah.
But he's also like when he's sitting on pillows and stuff to make him look like he's taller,
than
right?
he is.
And we've seen that in several movies like The Magnificent Seven, remember where we
had to stand on mounds and then
mounds of dirt, and then the other guy would pound him down.
Funny. Still funny.
Yeah. When this film won the Academy Award, oh, by the way, when it won the Academy Award for the brothers, what was the brothers' names? Do you remember?
Julius and... Where is my sheet?
I don't know what you did with it.
I know. It's everywhere.
It's right here. It's right here.
Oh, is it still here?
It's right here.
Oh, see, that's... So disorganized. Julius and Philip.
I think they are the only twins to ever win an Academy Award for directing.
Really?
So.
Screenwriting.
Or whatever they did, yeah. But in the when it won the Academy Award for Best Picture, Jack L. Warner was the first on stage to accept the award, beating the film's actual producer, Hal B. Wallace, who was incensed at this slight and never forgave Warner.
Yeah.
I mean, so...
to like get an award.
He left Warner Brothers shortly after that. You know? Madonna wanted to remake this with her as the Ingrid Bergman, and guess who? Ashton Kutcher as Rick.
Wow.
But when she went to go present this to the studios, they were like, "This film is untouchable."
Yeah,
they said, "You're not gonna mess this up." You know what I mean?
It's a film that it ages well. Like, you don't need to remake it because you can still go back and watch it and still enjoy it.
And I don't think you'll ever see like Gone with the Wind, stuff like that. I don't think you'll ever see those remade.
I'd be disappointed to even hear someone would think of.
I mean, I'm disappointed when I hear some of the movies that they're going to try to remake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of a little piece of me dies when I hear that. Especially, especially when they change the whole. If it was a drama, they change it to a comedy or a comedy to a horror. You know what I mean? It really makes me mad.
Of movie. I will say, what should happen more often is they should take movies that were never really good in the first place and remake them to make them better.
All right, let me ask you a question. We're going to go down a little rabbit trail real quick because this has been bothering me. How do you feel when a movie just appeases to a certain group of people? And when I say that, or it typecasts a certain group of people for this movie. So I'll go ahead and start like this. Medea. Okay, we'll just use Medea.
Yeah.
It's African American. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's who it's targeting its audience. But even like the Nutty Professor and stuff like that, it's comedy, but that's usually, you never see anything really like a drama, you know what I mean? It's kind of like typecasted to the stupidity of, you know what I mean, movie, the comedy movie. And I understand it's a different mindset.
Yeah.
But also like when you typecast or you keep bringing out these movies that, I mean, people are human beings.
Yeah.
It should be looked at evenly, a comedy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I get what you're saying. So, okay, so I'll address each of those differently because there's two answers for it, just on those particular two movies. So, with the Medea movies, majority of those movies are adapted from stage plays. I've seen the stage plays. The stage plays are phenomenal. They're hilarious. I'm not a fan of the movies because I think it's taking something that the beauty of the stage play is it's funny because a lot of things are obviously scripted, but then you can also tell some of the stuff that's improv.
Right.
And you get that sort of improv magic that, it's that moment where someone says something that is not scripted, and everybody's just trying to hold in their laughter to stay in character. And a lot of the jokes, and also, all the movies have a message in the end.
Right.
And so the stage plays are just really phenomenal, and I think the movies lose a bit of that magic. Now, given I did enjoy the very first movie that he came out with, because I was like, oh snap, they're taking the stage plays and they're making them a movie. That's cool. But after watching the movie, it just made me want to watch the stage play. And so obviously those movies are directed to an African American audience. To which I enjoyed them. My family's enjoyed them.
But what I'm saying, do you think would you rather see like a strong drama? Because I can't think of hardly any that's a strong drama like in the African American community or even in the Spanish community.
Have them.
But what I'm saying is not as many that are prominent. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Well, they're prominent amongst their own communities.
That's what I'm saying.
So when it comes to like African American movies, like one of the biggest dramas, a lot of the like 90s sort of living in not so great areas. One movie that's like you talk to anybody who's black, basically. Myself, even though I'm like half black, I still grew up watching a lot of black movies. But almost everyone's seen Boys in the Hood. And it's a drama. That's a drama. It's a good drama. It's a very sad movie, But that's probably one of the more prominent dramas. That is targeted towards that audience. Now, I can't speak towards, like, let's say a Hispanic audience. But I'm sure, like, my wife knows a movie that probably only, like, is prominent within the Hispanic community. That is a Hispanic drama.
But what I'm saying, would you rather have it where it's more readily available with newer stuff too? Like, we'll just throw out the Disney princesses.
Okay.
Right now, the only Disney princess that is African American is the Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
And she's a frog half the movie.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The injustice.
So I think.
I don't want them to be like, oh well, we're going to remake The Little Mermaid and make Ariel black or whatever. You know what I mean? I think there needs to be cultural differences between the Disney princesses, but give them their own story.
Oh yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
get what
Make
you're
them more
saying.
prominent. And because I don't want to use the term whitewash because they use that when they with the awards stuff and all that. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm tired of the same old stuff over and over and over again. Where
Instead of
they're losing their creative minds and diversifying
Okay, I get what you're
actors and
saying.
actors. You see what I'm saying?
I
now?
get what you're saying. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to that, and I think it's better to create new content if you want to highlight or make let's just say a marginalized person a main character instead of taking an already created character. And I think we've probably talked about it.
We have in a
Talking
Real
about,
Talk, I
yeah,
think,
real talking. Like probably when one of the comic movies, just create a new character,
Right.
and then give them that particular ethnicity, race, background, whatever. I think there's so much more to be explored now that people like that can be on the forefront. So instead of taking an already created character or movie
Right,
and trying
and-
to change it towards that, just make something new.
And like we say in our disclaimer, we know like the injustices that were done in movies, especially early
Absolutely.
on, like when this movie was filmed. Because I'll go and throw this in here now. Sam Dooley, the guy that played
Yeah.
the piano, Sam, he was only paid $500 a week.
Oh man, that's
Right, but Ingrid Bergman got $25,000. You know what I mean? Even though Sam had a smaller part, you know what I mean? I guess he would
Such
be
a
considered
good
like
role,
right. I know, but I
man.
think he would be considered a subcast. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But when you got Ingrid Bergman for $25,000, I don't know if that was a week or total. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Sam probably only shot a handful of days, I would say, or a handful of weeks.
Yeah.
To get all of his stuff done. There's also a scene where they were going to cut as time goes by out of this film
Really?
the song that he's playing, but the problem is Ingrid Bergman had already cut her hair for her next role.
Oh.
So they couldn't go back and reshoot, so they had to leave it in there.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if they would have cut that out of the film, then even his part is even gone
Yeah.
way down. And I think that was an integral part of the movie. That
really
was
was.
one of the biggest plots of this movie was Sam and that song. You know what I mean? Because I drove back, that was their song.
Yep.
And then, he's like, you never play this song again. He's like, Sam, remember when he busted in, he's like, I told you never to play this song again.
Oh, man,
and he
I love
looks
that
up and he's
scene.
like, she asked me to play. I was like, that scene gets me every time.
He knew it was coming. Like he's like, and I like
Sam's like,
when she requests, she's like, Sam, play me the song. He's like, I
can't.
don't know what song you're talking
I don't
about.
know
She's
that
like, you know what song? He's like, it's been a long time. She's like, let me hum it for you.
Right.
And he's like,
all
I'll play
right.
it.
And then you see Humphrey Bogart bust out of there. You know what I mean? Like,
Sam, I told you never
never
play
play
that song
and you're
again.
Like, and he's like,
And he's just like,
look over here. But sorry about that, Rob. I just, the way they treated Sam, or when you start looking at stuff in movies, especially older movies, it just gets to me at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this movie had a lot of diverse people in it too. so-
Absolutely. Definitely.
I mean, I didn't mean to offend anybody by the movies I mentioned. I was just
No,
trying
no,
to make a
of course.
point. You know what I mean? I'm trying to. I want more. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, I totally understand.
Because I love Denzel Washington, man. That's one of my favorite actors.
His son, and I need to remember his name, but his son is a great actor too.
I haven't seen anything he's in
I
yet.
watched. He was the last movie I watched that he was in was oh crap! It's the movie where Klansman. That's what it's called.
Oh, I wanted to
Based
see
off-
that.
oh,
it's
so
based
good.
off a true story.
It is, yeah. And I've actually heard sort of an interview with the actual cop that was in. It's very interesting. The movie's great too. Definitely recommend it. But yeah, his Denzel Washington and his son, just both amazing actors, and I can't wait to see more stuff with his son.
Oh yeah. So we all know that this was made during the World War II.
Yes.
So productions were not allowed to be filmed at an airport, an airstrip,
Yeah.
after dark for security reasons.
Absolutely, yeah.
So instead of they used a soundstage with a small cardboard cutout airplane and forced perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where
of course.
To give the illusion that the plane was actually full size, they used little people to portray the crew. And I was like, man, come on. And like I said, different time, different era. And,
Yeah.
I started thinking, I wonder if any of the Munchkins were in it.
That'd be interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I couldn't find that out. That would have been really cool. But the same technique's been used in Aliens.
A lot of sci-fi actually.
Yep.
Use force perspective.
Humphrey Bogart's wife, Mayo Mathot, Catania accused him of having an affair with Ingrid Bergman, often confronting him in his dressing room before a shot. No wonder he looked so mean half the time. I'd be depressed
help
too.
Him got in the character,
Right. He said he would come onto the set in a rage. You know what I mean? In fact, despite the undeniable on-screen chemistry between Bogart and Bergman, they hardly spoke, and the only time they bonded was when the two had lunch with Geraldine Fitzgerald. According to Fitzgerald, the whole subject at lunch was how they could get out of that movie. They thought the dialogue was ridiculous and the situations were unbelievable. I know Bogart very well, and I think he wanted to join forces with Bergman to make sure they both said the same things. For whatever reasons, Bogart and Bergman rarely spoke after that, and they never did another movie together.
Probably a big thing to do with his wife.
Conrad Veidt, who played Major Strasser, was well known in the theatrical community for Germany for his hatred of the Nazis and his friendship with the Jews. And in fact was forced to hurriedly escape the country when he found out that the SS had sent a death squad after him because of his anti-Nazi activities.
Oh, jeez.
Veidt had it in his contract that he only played villains because he was convinced that playing suave Nazi baddies would help the war effort.
Yeah, I mean, like I get it. Like you want to make sure you portray these people how
right.
you want them to be portrayed, and like he's a terrible person in the movie, obviously.
Do you remember the first time you saw Humphrey Bogart? What he was doing in this movie? What was Rick doing the first time you saw him in this movie?
Wasn't he sitting down?
He's sitting down. What's he doing?
Wasn't he having?
He's playing chess.
That's right. Yeah.
But do you know what? That's an actual real chess game. He's playing Correspondence by Mel.
Really?
Yes. So he's sitting there thinking about what move to make to Mel back, because back then there was no computers, electronics. He's thinking, okay, if I do that, so he can write down his move and send it back to the guy.
Yeah.
So he would move the guy's piece, whatever he said he wanted to do, and then he'd have to. So I thought that was pretty cool that he
is
actually.
Awesome. He's playing an actual game.
During production, Humphrey Bogart was called to the studio to stand in the middle of Rick's cafe set and nod. He had no idea what the nod meant in the story, but that was his okay for the band to play in the cafe to play the Marseillaise, whatever that's. We talked about Dooley Wilson. The piano playing was actually the recording of a performance by Jean Vincent Plummer, who was behind the curtain. Director Michael Kurtz's Hungarian accent often caused confusion on the set. He asked a prop man for a poodle to appear in one scene. The prop man searched high and low for a poodle while the entire crew waited. He found one and presented to Kurtz, who screamed, a poodle of water." Wow. So he wanted a puddle of water. It's not a poodle.
A poodle of water.
Here's one thing that Rick never says played again, Sam. I had always heard it as played again, Sam. You know what I mean? The piano, the song. I played again at the end. He says, "You played it for her, you can play it for me. If she can take it, I can take it, so play it." Ilsa says, or Elise says, "Play it, Sam. Play as time goes by." The intercut line has become the basis of spoof movies such as A Night in Casablanca in 1946 and Play It Again, Sam in 1972.
Huh.
And we're going to talk about some of the, when we get here in a minute, some of those...
iconic quotes?
There's a lot.
There are 6
so
of them,
many. I think. Let's see here. Madame Lebeau, who plays Yvonne, and Marcel Dalio, who plays Kruper Emil, were husband and wife at the time of filming. They had not long before escaped the Nazis by fleeing their native France.
Oh, wow.
So this is real. I don't know how you go from fleeing to walking onto a movie set, getting cast for a role. I don't.
I think it also has something to do with when you get away from something so heinous. You know what I mean? It's good to just fall back into a routine. To just have a bit of normalcy in your life. I mean, you just escape whether it be Germany, occupied France, any
Italy or whatever.
Italy. So like to get away from that, you just need to feel something normal, and then just fall into a routine and like being able, especially because some of them were actors in their respective countries. It's just, okay, look, I'm acting again, I'm working again, that's great. I'm away from that mess, and even though you're, playing a movie in that setting, it's like, okay, cool, we get to highlight some of the stuff and about it that makes it tough, or the situations, or hey, yeah, this character highlights how bad that they are, and so on and so forth.
Right. So, the whole movie, I never really understood why Rick couldn't go back to America. I don't think it ever said why he couldn't go back to America, did it?
It's all implied. It never says.
It never says why, though.
They never outright say why he can't go back to America. It's lightly implied, so there's a lot.
Implied what?
Why he's...
Is it because he's like a spy, or...
I always thought just because... just some kind of criminal activity.
Yeah, but no, but you never know.
Really says.
But you know the way he runs that casino, where he's like, "Hey, we're down 20,000," or what? You know, he lets that one guy win. He's like, "I needed to land on a 6." You remember the one guy that he's trying to get him and his wife out of the country or whatever, and he's like, "And I need you." He's like, "Leave it all on 6."
Yeah,
you know,
and then he makes it so they have enough money.
Right.
So what I think is interesting is they kind of gleam into his background just a little bit, and it kind of gives you an idea of what kind of man he is and what. After the man he was prior to Paris and the man he was afterwards. So prior to Paris, obviously him and what was the Rick and what was his lover's name?
Elsa.
Yeah. So but prior to Rick and Elsa, he fought in a lot of wars, and not I forgot which ones they highlighted, but he's a soldier. He's been in combat and stuff like that, and from Strasser, I think, highlights it because he's like looks into his background. He's like about him being on like the losing side. You know what I mean?
Well, according to Julius Epstein, he said, "My brother Philip and I tried to come up with a reason why Rick could not return to America, but nothing seemed right. We finally decided not to give a reason at all." So there you go. You left it up to speculation. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But to me, it sounded like he was into like the spy. I don't want to say spy business, but
that can very well be.
You know what I mean?
Because of he could
get those letters. He could get. Warner Brothers purchased the play for $20,000, the most ever paid for an unproduced work up to that time.
Oh wow!
It paid off. How much do you think Sam's Piano sold for in an auction in 2012?
Oh wow! I want to say. Couple mil at least.
No, 600,000.
Yeah, I was hoping.
And it was 370,000 pounds. So, Casey Robinson, who rewrote the romantic scenes between Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman, were offered screen credit, but turned it down because at the time he was only taking credit for scripts he wrote entirely by himself.
Oh wow! By
declining credit, he did himself out of an Academy Award. Oops.
Whoa!
I wonder how many times that happens. Rick's Cafe American was modeled after the Hotel El Minza in Tanglers, Morocco.
Oh, that's cool.
Let's see.
You think after the movie, someone like opened a cafe named Rick's Cafe,
or was there one already?
Rick's American Cafe.
I wonder if there is one in Casablanca.
That'd be interesting, right?
If you're in Morocco and you know there is one named Casablanca, let us know. Dooley Wilson was, in fact, the only member of the cast to have ever actually visited the city of Casablanca.
Oh, wow.
Which I thought that was pretty cool, too. In 2006, this film script was named the best screenplay of all time by the Writers Guild of America.
That's pretty cool.
Reportedly, many of the shadows were painted onto the set. Instead of lighting, they're painting shadows onto the set.
That's pretty funny. I guess they just couldn't get the lighting they wanted.
Also, a $100,000 insurance policy was taken out on the film's leading player, Humphrey Bogart, in case he died during production.
Wow, okay.
I wonder if that's just in case they had to recast that or whatever.
So 2 facts ago, the one were about the script. I think it's just funny that, it was like, it's, oh man, this is one of the best scripts. And then you got Humphrey Bogart and I'm forgetting her character name. I'm forgetting her name. But in any case, them making fun of the script, saying like, "Oh, this is not believable," and this is terribly written. And meanwhile, right. you got the what was it? The
Writers Guild.
Writers Guild.
But that was in 2006, though. That was later.
Yeah, that's true.
That was 60 years later.
But it's still interesting to be like, in the moment it seems silly, and then it just becomes what it is.
And also the way that the film was shot, Ingrid Bergman did not know if she ended up with Rick or she ended up with Victor.
Oh,
that's when right. She when they were doing all those Paris scenes or whatever, you know what I mean? she didn't know she was supposed to be in love with Rick. Although she tells Rick she loves him, she never tells Victor that she loves him, and she just answers, "I know."
Oh,
Remember,
yeah,
if you paid attention, in
I
the
did
movie.
I did notice that.
So they told her to play it in between. You know what I mean? 50-50. Warner Brothers has claimed that people of 34 nationalities worked on the film. I mean, talk about the melting pot of a movie.
Yeah.
In 2007, the American Film Institute ranked this as the number 3 greatest movie of all time.
Yep.
Captain Renault's line, "You like war, I like women," was changed from "You enjoy war, I enjoy women" in order to meet decency standards of the time.
That's funny.
To prepare for working with Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman watched The Maltese Falcon a lot of times. So that's another movie we're going to have to do. The Here's Looking at You Kid, which is a big thing, was improvised by Humphrey Bogart.
Really?
Yep. But it worked so well in the film, they decided to add it later on, too. Also, Ingrid Bergman liked to play poker on the set with the guys, and she couldn't speak English very well. So, but Here's Looking at You Kid became one of her lines when she was playing poker.
That's
so I thought that was
hilarious.
pretty funny. Here it is. Here you go. The quotes from the film. The film has 6 quotes on the American Film Institute list of top movie quotes of all time, more than any other movie on the list.
Yeah.
The quotes with their ranks are as follows. Number 5, "Here's Looking at You, Kid."
Yep.
Number 20, "Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship," which is often misquoted too.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Some people usually say, "I think this is the beginning of the start of a beautiful blah blah blah." Number 28, "Play it, Sam. Play as time goes by." 32. Let's see. Yep, thought we lost power. Okay, we're good. 32 was "Round Up the Usual Suspects," which you hear that in a lot of movies. Number 43, "We'll Always Have Paris."
Yeah.
And number 67, "Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine."
I love that.
I love
That's
that. That's
my
one of my
favorite
favorites. Yeah. I thought it deserved to be higher up there. Gone with the Wind from 1939, which we've covered, and The Wizard of Oz, 1939, which we've covered, came and tied for second place with 3 quotes apiece, including the number 1 quote from Gone with the Wind. Michelle Morgan asked for $55,000, but Hal B. Willis refused to pay it when he could get Ingrid Bergman for $25,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you wanted to work on this movie and we can get it cheaper. Guess what? The movie's line, "Here's Looking at You, Kid," was voted as the number 5 movies quoted by the American Film Institute as number 1 of the greatest movie lines by Premiere in 2007.
And it's an improv line.
That's the funniest part. So it's so good that they...
Is looking at you, kid.
The screenwriter twins objectively initially to the casting of Claude Rains as the French policeman because he was already under contract to the studio. Julius later admitted, "We were wrong. Rains was great."
Yeah.
Really great.
He's fantastic.
We love him from The Invisible Man.
Yeah, and this just showcases his how the diversity of roles he can play.
Here you go. How about this guy, Paul Henriette, who played the Victor? Or other was loaned to Warner Bros. The role for Victor by Selznick International Pictures against his will. He was concerned that playing a secondary character would ruin his career as a romantic lead. I was like, "You jerk, get over here."
He's another phenomenal actor.
But what I'm saying is, back then, it was all about, I got to be the lead role. I got to be the lead role. I got to be the lead role. You know what I mean? These secondary characters don't do nothing to help me get lead roles. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Let's see. Oh, Claude Rains, our guy again, was a non-smoker. In most of his scenes, he is smoking a cigarette. He never inhales. However, using the trick of drawing the smoke into his mouth, holding it for a moment, then puffing it out without ever drawing it into his lungs.
Huh.
I wonder if he did that with The Invisible Man, too. Remember when...
Oh, yeah, because he does.
But I don't know. You never see it go into his lungs, remember?
Yeah.
So he could have been anybody. When President Franklin Roosevelt returned from a wartime conference in Casablanca with Winston Churchill, he asked for a screening of the film at the White House because in Spanish, Casablanca means White House.
Why not? Why not?
Why not? Now, this is an injustice. Because As Time Goes By had been written years before the film was made, it was deemed not eligible for an Oscar and was not nominated for Best Song of the Year. So, got him.
That's a shame.
It's
Good
a
song.
crying shame. Great song. A kiss is just a kiss. Yeah, there's where it talks about Dooley only getting $500. He was borrowed from Paramount for $500 a week. But at least he was under contract with another studio, I guess.
That's true.
If he was borrowed from Paramount, but I don't know what his pay rate was.
But I mean,
I'm sure
I feel like he should have got paid more, way more.
Right.
Because it's such a good role. And that's another thing that was kind of up to question. It's like at first they have a prior relationship just through subcontext and stuff. And then you see them in Paris, and then once again, Sam's hanging out with Rick. But like, what brought them together in the first place? Like,
and not only that, but do you know what I really loved about them? Is the one guy's like, "Hey, Sam, maybe you want to come work for me?" He's like,
yeah.
Rick's like, you can ask him, but he's like, he's not going to want to go anywhere. And remember, when he goes up there, he's like, "Hey, how would you like to go make $1,000?" He's like, "I'm happy where I'm at."
He's like, "I'll pay you double." He's like, "I don't even know what to do with the money I'm getting paid with now."
Something's happened there. I don't know the connection between them, but something's happened between Rick and Sam. There is respect
between the two of them,
and I don't know if maybe they helped each other smuggle something or something. You know, what I mean, you don't know.
They might just be war buddies.
That's what I'm saying. Knows? You don't know, and I love it because it shows how close they were, you know what I mean? That he wouldn't even leave for double his salary.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes to says in today's market, would you leave your job if you could go work somewhere else, make twice as much money?
In a heartbeat.
Well, I know you would. 1989, Casablanca was added to the National Film Registry by the United States. The cigarette smoke in the cafe is not from cigarettes at all. Stagehand sprayed smoke off camera from some sort of handheld device. This is confirmed in the Blu-ray special features outtakes, possibly on regular DVD special features. Then here's where we talked about Warner Brothers wanted to remove the song as time goes by, but Ingrid Bergman had already cut her hair for her next film, For Whom the Bell Tolls, in 1943, so director Michael Kurtz was unable to reshoot the scene, which I'm glad. Got him. Contrary to popular belief, the line "Play it again, Sam" is not spoken in this movie. Ingrid Bergman does say "Play it, Sam," and "Play it once more for old time's sake." Despite this, "Play it again, Sam" became a popular line, so popular that it was in fact spoken by the late Roger Moore in the James Bond film Moonraker. I thought that was cool. We got to do some James Bond movies. We haven't done any of those yet.
Oh, yeah. There's so many to choose from.
There is a popular belief that Ronald Reagan was supposed to slated to play as Rick.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
But Hal B. Wallace has always said that Humphrey Bogart had him in mind from the very beginning. I mean, that's one of them hearsays, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it'd been really cool to see Ronald Reagan in there, too. And there's another one about the chess thing, and it's got all the different chess moves that was on the board already. So, there you have it. Casablanca. Terrence,
Casablanca.
give us your thoughts and feelings and all the above on the film.
So, as I said before, I have seen this movie before, but it's been so long that I didn't really remember it. So, I knew I liked it when I watched it before. And watching it again, I still really do enjoy it. It's definitely worth a watch. I like the dynamic between the characters. I think it's very well written. And leaving certain things in obscurity really adds to the movie. And I also think it's always fun to kind of create dialogue after the movie, because you watch the movie with either on your own and you talk to somebody else who watched it, or you watch it with a friend, and you sit here and you converse it like we have. Like, what do you think is his background? Like, what's the relationship between Rick and Sam?
And there's several movies we've covered where it leaves it open like that.
It does, and I think this one leaves it in a way where it gives you just enough to be almost satisfied, but also just not enough so you create a dialogue about it. Because you're like, okay, I do know that, Rick's been in a couple wars. That kind of paints a little background for him. And then you can tell after Paris, that's kind of, the heartbreak kind of made him a colder man, but not all the way, because he still has a little bit of heart. And you see that when, he has the
letters,
the letters, and he lets that woman win. At the roulette table.
Well, not only that, but also what we haven't talked about is the end of the movie where he gives the letters, and she's like, "Rick's going with me. We're leaving." Remember, and he's like, "No, you're going with Victor, and you're going to start a new life, and all this. My life's here, or whatever."
Because he totally had planned with her that he was going to go with her, and then he flips it around, and so you can
see
tell.
She is destroyed, dude.
Yeah,
he got her. I love that he got
him. But yeah, it's so good.
Do you think it deserves to be in the top 5?
Absolutely, I do. Just because you look at the time and how diverse it is, and I want to say, just in us doing in this podcast for a while, looking at a lot of movies, older movies in particular, it's rare you see such a diverse cast, and to hear that a lot of the cast were refugees themselves. And then make a movie about essentially refugees, I think is very unique and interesting.
I got to tell this story real quick. Do you remember when I told Terrence, I was like, "All right, Terrence, we're going to be doing The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, yeah.
So what's Terrence do? Terrence goes and watch the Schindler's List. And he's like, whoops.
So this is what happened. I got the initial text, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna review Shawshank Redemption." I was like, "Okay, cool." And then, being me, sometimes I do things last minute. So like, it was like a week or two later that I was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta watch the movie." What was it? And instead of
looking at your text that you still have,
my text that I still had, I just went, "Oh yeah, that's right. We're watching Schindler's List." And then so I go and watch Schindler's List, and then I realized
that is a really good movie that I'd like to cover, but it's going to be a tough one to cover.
Wow,
so
yeah.
I mean, the way they did that,
it's. Oof.
To
We'll
me,
get to that, but
right.
but yeah, it was funny. I was like, "Oh crap!" So then I had to hurry up and go back and then watch Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, to me, it's a good movie, but top 5 of all time. Of all time,
it is interesting, but I think when it comes to all time, it's looking at, I guess, the like everything. You know what I mean? Like,
right? I understand that.
And I think it has a lot going for it. And I can see it reaching a really broad audience, given, like, I imagine some other movies that I would put on my personal would not make other people's. You know what I mean?
But I'm just saying, just from the movie perspective, if I was Rick and that girl came into my cafe, there is no way I'm not kicking her out or having something done to her with all the power that he had in there.
That's true,
especially when she said, "This is my husband." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You're gone. You're gone for good. You know what I mean? And you'd go to another bar here on the island or whatever. But, but I think it shows his heart that, he sees she moved on with her life. She thought he was dead. Remember, she's like, "Let me explain." He's like, "I don't want to hear it."
Yeah.
And then she finally breaks down and tells him. He actually listens, and you find out that she thought he was dead. Then he came back, So you kind of started feeling a little sorry for Rick because he's going to be on the short end of a stick again. But then they devise that plan where, hey, I'm going to plant these letters on Victor. He'll be put away for a long time.
Yeah.
And him with Claude Rains is hilarious anyway, because they're always,
part is
right.
Hilarious.
So, I mean, I enjoyed that conflict there too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in the end, he did the right thing. So, I mean, it is a definitely must watch. If you love movies, this is definitely. If you have not seen this, it is definitely a must watch. I don't know if I'll watch it again for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah,
because it's not one of my favorites that I like. Like I said, I tried to watch it 3 times, and if you can get past the first 10 or 15 minutes, you're golden.
Because it's really like.
But that beginning, man.
After.
It starts off. It shows does show like a script on the screen about, hey, this is the city of Casablanca
articles.
Where people go.
It shows like news articles. Fake
World War II. Right.
But, like, there's news articles there, and then they do a lot of prefacing and background. And now I will say that it's interesting that they go down that route, because it is said that if you write a good enough story, you don't have to go back and preface it with a bunch of context to put your movie in. But the fact that they had to take a couple minutes in the very beginning and be like, this is what's happening. Here's some news articles. This is where this place is, and that instead of maybe explaining it in dialogue context of maybe even like a conversation that spells it out instead of just. Because
I got really confused at the beginning too, because like people are like the Germans are coming off the airplane, and the Italians are there to greet them, and the American, they have all these different nationalities on this. I guess it's a free country of Morocco or what, what I mean? And I was kind of confused, like, what's going on? I mean, I think it's controlled by the French. You know what I mean? And then you got the Germans coming. They want to do everything to please the Germans. And then, they're even there to arrest the one guy, remember?
Yep.
And, we've already arrested him, and because Rick, they all go to Rick to get away from the country. He's known as the smuggler out of the country to pay fake paperwork and all that stuff. So, very interesting movie. Very interesting. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and give out our next movie we're going to do. Yes. This was a fan request from a friend of mine named Marcus Clark.
That I mentioned that I wanted to do.
Yes, and he does his own podcast, so I'm going to interview him sometime soon. And we're going to be doing The Last Dragon with Bruce Leroy.
Bruce Leroy.
So be on the lookout for that. If you want to join our Facebook group, we're at the Tragedy of Cinema podcast Facebook group.
Yep.
You can, if you want to send us any questions or comments or reviews, look us up. You can email us at thetragedyofcinema@gmail.com. Find us wherever
Where
YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, all those good stuff. Apple Podcast.
Give our YouTube some love. We have like no views on there.
Well, with that being said, I think this episode's coming to a close, and that's a wrap. And cut.
That was a terrible cut.